Hello and welcome to the Forsaken City B-side episode of the B-sides speedrun tutorial series. Today I'm going to show you fast and consistent strats to get through this chapter quickly and consistently. Let's jump right into it. Okay, so in this first room you're going to do an extended super dash, 2 climb jumps on the right, and then a wall jump on the wall above you and to the left, like this. Then you can either hold right and do 1 or 2 climb jumps on the little wall at the bottom, and then just upright dash to the end. But that requires that you're high enough after the first 2 climb jumps and a wall jump. So if you find this strat too intimidating, or if you can tell you are too low when you're going for it, you can just go for these 2 wall jumps and upright dash to the end, and that doesn't lose too much time. Then you'll just want to do a jump, quick wall jump on the right, and then dash up to wall bounce out of the room. In room 2 here, you're going to be around here when you enter, so you want to do a downright dash as soon as you can, and then delay a jump a little bit so that you kind of slide under this block, like so, and then grab it from the back. Just make sure you don't hold right the whole time from when you enter, as it can be a bit difficult to get this little jump under if you do so. So I recommend just not holding right for a bit, and then holding right, and that usually works for me. Then you want to grab the back of this traffic block, and when it's around halfway along its path, you're going to jump off it to the right and fast fall to be able to wall jump off of the back of this little wall with spikes above it, like that. Then you want to grab this traffic block on the right, and there are a few things you can go for. So the faster thing is to try to grab it near the top, then just do a climb jump over it as it's around halfway along its path. And because it's still moving up, and you're moving up when you jump over it, you won't die to the spikes, and you'll actually get pushed up a little bit, like this. Wait, that was too late. Sort of like that. And then you can do an upright demo dash and corner kick to exit the room. And this strat isn't as scary as it looks, but if you don't want to go for that, the next safest thing is to just wait till it's at the top, and then jump over it, and then just upright demo to the end. And if you do that, you want to make sure you wait until the block has stopped moving, because if you go too early, you will just fly up into spikes. In the next room, you want to wave dash at the start, and make sure you don't hold right before the wave dash, because if you do that, you can run out of space to wave dash. So just make sure you don't hold right until you wave dash. And then the faster thing that you can go for is to wall bounce between the 2 traffic blocks, and then just fast fall on the other side, wall jump to the final traffic block, then do a combination of wall jumps and climb jumps to exit the room, like this. And I highly recommend for strats like this, when you want to do a lot of climb jumps or wall jumps in a row, that you hold your second jump button, or you hold one jump button and you press another one to do each climb jump, and that will guarantee you get max height on every climb jump. Like this, I'm holding spacebar because that's my second jump, so that guarantees that every jump I do is max height. Now the slightly slower alternative you can go for is when you just hold right the whole time and hold jump on this wave dash so that you touch the right wall. Then you're going to press your second jump button while you're still holding right, and that will give you a wall jump to the left in the middle of those 2 traffic blocks. Because if you're holding right against the wall and do a wall jump, you'll actually do a left wall jump, and vice versa. And then when you're inside there, you can do a wall jump and 2 climb jumps to the right, and that will do 1 on the traffic block and 1 on the wall to the right, and that's going to get you over. And at the end, you'll just want to do a climb jump on the traffic block, a wall bounce on the right wall, and then some wall jumps and climb jumps to exit. So I wall bounce on the right wall, a wall jump on the left wall, and then finally 1 climb jump on the right wall again. Now the important thing with exiting this room is that you exit on the right, because that means you have less distance to travel in the next room as you have to go to the right, and therefore you save time there. Now if you find that strat too difficult, the safer alternative is to just do the same thing where you wave dash to the right and do the wall jump while you're still holding right, but grab the left traffic block and just use its momentum to jump over and do the same exit as with the other strat. Now in this next room, you want to hold right at the start, do a wave dash, then an upright dash into the side of the second traffic block, and do a climb jump while you're still in the dash, so that you don't activate the traffic block, and you can just jump over it and grab the back like that. Then you want to jump and grab the back of this one, and then just exit the room like that. Now, when you jump off the third traffic block, I recommend trying to do a kind of small to medium jump, because if you go for a full jump, you're likely to bonk that ceiling there, which will cause you to drop all the way down here, and that loses a lot of time. Now if you find the buffered climb jump over the second traffic block a little awkward, instead you can just grab the left side, jump all the way over and grab the right side as usual. Just be aware that you will have to do a very big jump to make it all the way there, so just hold jump for that strat. Now with any strat you do in this room, make sure that you exit on the right wall, on the right side of the transition, as just like in the previous room, this will save time in the next room because you want to move to the right. Now in this room, just holding right and go for a wall bounce is fine. Just make sure you jump early on this wall bounce, because if you jump late, you're very likely to bonk this traffic block. You need to jump very early and hold right until you pass the traffic block, and then hold left to grab the back of it. If you find that awkward, you can just do a jump off the ground, a jump off this wall, and then up dash to the traffic block, which is a little bit slower, but definitely much comfier. And a way to make that faster is a transition climb jump, so that you land on the ground faster. But again, those can be pretty awkward to input. Anyway, so once you are on this traffic block, there are a few strats you can go for. The one I recommend is to just hold right the whole time and do a full jump to the right wall, but make sure you climb up this traffic block as it moves to the right, so that you jump off of it at its maximum height. Then you want to do a full climb jump into this corner. Then from here, you can do a full height neutral, like this, and this will perfectly set up another full height neutral to do a little climb jump, a little spike jump type thing there, off of the corner where the spikes are. Now if you find that strat inconsistent, you can do a climb jump and neutral. They don't necessarily have to be full height, you just want to get to around here, and there's a pixel lineup you can use for the next neutral, which is this one, where the bottom of Madeleine's hand is lined up with the bottom pixel of that tiny little dark blue triangle that her hand is next to. Then from there you want to quickly ungrab, do a full height neutral, and that will allow you to get that little corner jump there. However, if you find both of those strats annoying and difficult, there is another strat you can go for that is not the intended strat, which is a neutral climb jump off of this traffic block when it reaches the end, and also make sure you climb up it before you do so. And then when you're lined up roughly with this little column of windows, you're going to start holding right, and that will allow you to grab this little bit here. From here you can do a wall jump to the left, a few climb jumps on the left, and then climb jump over the little wall above you with the spikes above it, and then you can simply right dash and fast fall to the end. However, you need to make sure that you have enough height before that right dash. And this is where using your second jump button to make sure you get maximum height jumps really helps, as that will make sure that you have enough height to be able to do that right dash. However, if you don't want to worry about that and you just want to not die, you can just upright dash, which is a lot slower but also safer. So when you land around here, it doesn't matter exactly where, you want to try to do a short hyper so that you can bunny hop before you hit these spikes, because if your hyper is too big, you'll actually just crash into those spikes. So make sure you go for a short little hyper there, and you're going to land around there on your bunny hop. Make sure your bunny hop is full height as well, it saves a little bit of time. Then you'll want to do a climb jump, a neutral climb jump, so don't hold any direction. And then at the end you're gonna hold left to grab this left wall, and you want to climb up until you are lined up with this pixel, which is where Madeline's hand is on the blue pixel below the little white blob just above her hand there. Another cue you could use is where the bottom pixel of Madeline's hand is lined up with that little white dot to her left. Just any visual cue for that pixel setup that works for you is good. Then you're going to hold right before you jump off the wall, do a jump with your first jump button, and while you're holding that jump button, you're going to press your second jump button to get a corner jump off of that corner with the spikes. And this saves a lot of time because you skip having to use the traffic block and go all the way under and round. So I highly recommend this because as long as you find that pixel, it's very consistent. However, not everybody likes pixel setups, and if you find this inconsistent, then you can do this hyper bunny hop and actually touch the traffic block so that it activates. Then you can jump and do a wall bounce to land in that gap there. Once you're in this gap, you want to hold down left until the spring is in the gap. And then you're going to down left dash into the spring so that you get sent up. Then do a couple climb jumps and an upright dash to exit. Now for any strat, when you land on this, you're going to do a right dash and straight away do an up dash to wall bounce and exit the room. Now this could be a little scary because if you land too far right, say here, and you right dash, you're not going to get your dash back. So you could either just react, and if you notice that you're landing too far right, not go for this strat, and instead just jump and wall bounce. Or if you find this strat risky, you could just always go for the jump and wall bounce, as that will mean that you never die to not getting your dash back here. You could grab the whole time, and this will mean that if you don't get your dash back, you won't fall into spikes. However, this might be overkill for this strat. Now in this room, you just want to hold right as soon as you enter and hold grab. This will allow you to grab this traffic block like you would normally. Then when it's near the end of its path, you can do a medium-sized jump to get over there, then hold down left to fall into the little gap without touching the spikes, then wall jump and right dash to grab the traffic block and exit out of the room. Now here, if you don't hold directions on the jump off this traffic block, you can actually hold right the whole time in the next room and buffer a wave dash, and you won't hit the spring. However, this can be a little tight, as you will have to dash and jump very quickly. So you can just wait a little bit there and not hold right, and then just wave dash there. However, this forward wave dash can still be a little difficult, so a reverse wave dash can be a safer alternative, so that you never hit the spring. And don't worry about these spikes above you, because if you hold jump, you will not touch these spikes. Next, you want to go for an up dash and a wall bounce into this dash crystal. Then at the top of that wall bounce, do a right dash into the next one. And again, this wall bounce is pretty tight, so if you don't like this one, there's nothing wrong with just dashing up when you're safely not going to dash into the wall, and then doing a little wall jump off that wall there to get the dash crystal. Whichever strat you go for, at the top here, you want to go for a right dash, and as soon as you touch the next dash crystal, you want to do an upright dash so that it's buffered. Then you're just going to fall here. You can fast fall, but it doesn't save that much, so if you don't like this fast fall, don't worry about it. And there's two strats you can go for. You can either go for an upright demo dash to kind of bonk this ceiling, and you'll be able to corner kick on the other side, and that will get the dash crystal and allow you to just wall bounce out the room. And make sure, if you're going for this upright demo, that you can actually bonk this ceiling a little bit there and still get it. However, if you go too late, you might have already gone too low and you might not be able to touch the ceiling there. So if you go in for an upright demo, make sure you kind of bonk that ceiling there a little bit, and you can actually buffer that corner kick, so do it straight after that dash. But you can also delay it a little bit this is a decently generous window on that one. The alternative strat is to either slow fall or fast fall down to the bottom, wall jump off the left wall, then go for a wall bounce into that dash crystal, and just wall bounce again to exit. And if you go for this strat, make sure you wall bounce as soon as possible in that first one, so that you can do the second wall bounce early. Now in this room, as soon as you enter, you can do a right dash, and you can buffer this right dash as soon as you enter the room, because you can't immediately dash after an upwards transition. Next, you want to hold right for a little bit, just so that you're far enough right to not bonk the ceiling, and when you're far enough right, you're going to hold left again to grab this wall on the left. Then there's a couple strats you can go for. The fastest but also riskiest strat is to do a 5 jump off this little wall here, then a corner kick off the block above you. But you need to make sure that you get a lot of height on this 5 jump, and that you jump as high as you can, and make sure that's actually buffered. Now this corner kick is very awkward, so a slightly slower but comfier strat is to do this. You can actually go for a turnaround here, so you're going to still go for this 5 jump, but then hold left instead of just holding right the whole time, and this will allow you to grab the traffic block from the back and do another jump off of it. You don't actually need to grab it, you can just do another wall jump off of it. But if you want to be safe, grabbing it is a little safer there. And you can also just climb to max height and go for a jump to the right. However, that is going to be slower than doing the little 5 jump there. Now when you're here, you want to either slow fall or fast fall. Of course, fast falling is going to save a little bit of time here, but it's also kind of risky, so slow falling is absolutely fine. Do a jump off that left wall there to land in here, and there are 2 strats you can go for. The faster strat is to grab this wall here and look for a pixel lineup. And there are 2 pixels that work here, but there's some things to be aware of here. So the optimal pixel, or the easier pixel, is this one, where the top pixel of Madeleine's hand is lined up with the bottom pixel of that tiny kind of triangle of dark blue pixels to her right, if you can see that. Then from here, once you're on that pixel, you're going to want to do a demo dash to the right, and then while you're holding grab still, so you're going to hold grab, do that demo, and then input a jump, so it's a climb jump, and you're going to actually corner boost off the wall with spikes above it to your right, like this. And that will just get you to the end of the room. From there you can just hyper dash out, or do a right dash, or a jump, it doesn't really matter. Of course a hyper or a dash is going to be faster than just jumping, but a jump can definitely be safer there. Now, the other pixel that works is 1 pixel below that, where the bottom pixel of Madeleine's hand is lined up with the bottom of the wall there. You'll see that if I just do 1 jump, I will actually not make it to the end, and I will have to do a climb jump at the end to make it over. And this is due to sub-pixels. So basically on this bottom pixel, if you're lucky pretty much, you won't have to do that little jump there. But if you get unlucky, you will have to do it. Of course, a hyper or a dash is going to be... There's 2 ways you can go about doing this. The first way, you can either just... If you find that you're on the bottom pixel, always go for this little jump, just to be safe. And if you're lucky and you don't have to do that jump, you'll just exit the room, which is fine. Or you can do a strat where you press both of your jump buttons at the corner there, to just get a little bit more height on that corner boost, and that will actually send you straight to the end without having to do that little climb jump. However, this strat is definitely a slightly more advanced one, so if you find this inconsistent, I would not recommend this, because this room is not a good one to die in, because you're going to spend a little bit of time finding this pixel, and so you could actually lose quite a bit of time to this death, more than it might seem from this tiny room. So yeah, if you don't like the awkwardness of the bottom pixel there, you could choose to only go for the top pixel, so this one. But if you're fine with just being aware that you can either input 2 jumps there, or just do a little climb jump at the end, then the bottom pixel is absolutely fine. Now, not everybody likes pixel setups, because, for example, if you take too long to find the pixel, you're going to run out of stamina, and you might not be able to input the climb jump for the corner boost, because you've already run out of stamina. And some people just find them awkward and unfun, so if you don't want to do the pixel setup, that's absolutely fine. You can just do 2 climb jumps off this one and 1 climb jump off that one, and that will get you to the end there. Once you land here at the end, you're just going to hyper out of the room, or jump, or right dash. Now here there's a few strats you can go for. You can grab the traffic block and wave dash, or you can slow climb off the traffic block and go for that wave dash when you're kind of above it. I personally like the climb jump and wave dash, but the one problem with that strat that people don't like is that if you do that climb jump too quickly, you could get a buffer climb jump like that, and the traffic block won't activate. So what I like to do is release jump in the transition for the hyper that I did before, and that will mean that I'm moving down when I grab the traffic block, which means I'm very unlikely to get a buffered climb jump, and that will usually activate it. Then you want to jump as quickly as possible and do that wave dash. Then there's a couple choices of what you can do after you grab this traffic block. You can either climb to max height and just go over the top like that, then climb jumps to exit the room like that. Or you can grab it around halfway, or roughly when you grab it after the wave dash, and sort of stay at that height. Then you can go under there. So yeah, just being halfway up this traffic block means that you won't die if you choose to go under here. Both of these strats are around the same speed, I believe, optimally, so you just want to go for the one that you find easiest. Now in this room, there are a few strats you can go for. Some are much more difficult than others. So the fastest strat is to do a reverse wave dash, then a corner boost, and a buffered climb jump over the traffic block, like this. And of course make sure you use your second jump button for the corner boost, otherwise it's extremely difficult. And then I personally hold my second jump for the corner boost, and use my first jump again to do that buffered climb jump. Just make sure that climb jump on the traffic block is buffered, so do it just before you get there, rather than when you're on it, because if you do it too late, the traffic block will actually activate and will kill you when you try to go over it. And that will allow you to just get to the end like that. Now the slightly slower method is to down dash, reverse super, and demo under there. And that will allow you to get onto this crumble block like so. Now, to be fast, you want to get into this hole as quickly as possible, which can be a little scary when you're trying to fast fall and things like that. So instead of doing a right climb jump, so instead of holding right as you input this climb jump on the traffic block, which will send you to the right and make it kind of difficult to correct yourself back to the left, I recommend releasing right as you grab it, so you do a neutral climb jump like that, and that will make it much easier for you to just tap right a little bit and fall into that hole, at least in my opinion. But if you find holding right just fine, for example if you don't want to fast fall, then if that works for you, go for it. After that you just want to do a wall jump off of this left wall. Now there's something to consider for exiting this room, depending on which strat you're doing. So if you go for the reverse super strat that I just showed you, you will have more stamina in this area than if you did the corner boost strat. Because with the corner boost strat, you're actually using 3 climb jumps before you get to the ending, because you're doing 1 for the corner boost, 1 for the buffered climb jump, and another one off this traffic block there. So that means because you can only do a maximum of 4 climb jumps with the stamina that you have, you can only do 1 climb jump there before you have to do wall jumps or neutrals. And because of that, it can be very scary to try to exit this room quickly, because if you're just a little bit too low, that wall jump is going to take you to the spikes. Like that. So what you can do is just delay them a little bit, and make sure you get full height on this jump off the wall, and that will usually mean that you don't die. Or you can choose to go for a neutral, either before the climb jump or after the climb jump, and that just guarantees that you won't die, but of course that is going to lose a bit of time there. However, fortunately with the reverse super strat, because you reset your stamina on that crumble block there, you actually still have 3 climb jumps available to you, 1, 2, 3, and so the whole neutral situation isn't a problem for you. So that's only something you really need to worry about if you're going for the fastest strat here. Now the fastest strat here is something called a wall boost, which is a neutral climb jump, so a climb jump where you're not holding left or right, and then you're going to hold left straight after that, which will allow you to get that really fast change of direction in midair. And the visual cue for when to do this neutral climb jump is when you're just about under this traffic block here. And that is very consistent for me. However, if you find those inputs awkward, you can simply wait until this first traffic block is near the end and go for a left jump like that. Which is going to be a little slower, but definitely consistent. Then here, to be a little faster, you want to do a tiny jump off this traffic block. Firstly because it's faster as you have less airtime, but also if you do a slightly bigger one, you definitely have a risk of hitting these spikes at the top. So if you just do a tiny one, you will always be able to make it to this traffic block, and you also don't have a risk of dying to the spikes at the top. Now here, grab the traffic block around halfway or lower. So sort of the bottom half of the traffic block. Just be aware that grabbing it too low won't work for this strat. But if you grab it around the bottom half, but not too low, you will be able to climb jump as soon as it reaches the end, and you won't die. However, if you grab it too high and you go for that, you'll actually get sent over the traffic block with the momentum, which is likely to kill you to the spikes. Then you want to either slow fall or fast fall here. Of course, fast falling is faster, but it doesn't really matter. Then you want to do a wall jump off the left wall, then 2 climb jumps on the right wall, and a wall jump off the left wall there. That's going to get the dash crystal for you. Then you can just hold down right to fall into this hole, but if you're scared of touching these spikes, you can just hold right to make sure you don't fall down quite as quickly. Then once you're lined up with this right wall, I hold down and do a wall jump off the bottom, which allows me to wall bounce off of this wall and do climb jumps. Again, because you're doing quite a lot of climb jumps here, just make sure you hold your second jump button for max height. Now, up dashing for the wall bounce next to these spikes can definitely be risky, so if you're afraid of dying to that, you can simply wall bounce on the right wall like that, which is going to lose a bit of time, but definitely be safer. And again, you want to try to exit on the right here, as that's going to save a little bit of time in this room. Now in this room, you want to either transition climb jump or simply move to the right. Be aware that if you move to the right, you need a really small wave dash here to actually land on the traffic block. But yeah, you're going to either go for a wave dash bunny hop or a hyper bunny hop if you land on the ground first. And that's going to allow you to up dash to the back of this traffic block. And you're going to grab it from the back to make sure it activates, quickly climb on top of it here, and you're going to jump off it before it reaches the top, like that. Just be aware that grabbing this block from the side before you jump on top of it is really difficult, because you have to be really fast to not get crushed by this block here, or to actually get on top of it in time. So if you find that too difficult, you can just do a quick climb jump on top of it so it doesn't activate, and then just wait a little bit for it to move up. Now remember, if you're moving in the same direction as spikes, they won't actually kill you. So as you do a jump to the left here, even though you might be inside the spikes there, they won't kill you because you're moving to the right. So you don't have to worry about that as long as you just hold right on that jump there, which you have to not die to the ceiling. So yeah, you won't die to these spikes here. When you're here, you want to do 2 quick climb jumps on the traffic blocks to the left. So 1 on the bottom one and 1 on the top one, and then just do a hyper to exit. I personally like to use my first jump button for the first climb jump and the second one for the second climb jump, if that makes it easier for me. And it's also going to save a tiny bit of time there. And then when you land here, you're just going to do a hyper dash to exit. And you're going to bunny hop in the next room, and down dash onto this traffic block. Now in this room is a strat that a lot of people consider to be very difficult. I'm going to explain it because of how much time it saves, but if you find this inconsistent or if you die to it a lot, then dropping this strat is absolutely fine. And the strat itself is to jump to the left as this traffic block begins to move up, and then you're going to do a right dash back onto the traffic block and quickly jump so that you get a block assisted super. However, it is quite an awkward strat. If you go too late, you could just hit the block there. If you go too early, you can bonk the ceiling there. You could not get your dash back. You could not hold jump long enough. So there's a lot of things that can go wrong with this strat. I recommend left jumping as the block starts to move up, and then doing your right dash when you're roughly in line with the bottom of this third or top window on the left there. On the super, make sure you jump late enough to get your dash back, because if you jump too early, you could end up without a dash, and that situation can be quite hard to react to and save properly, so a lot of the time you could just die if you don't get your dash back there. Then after the super, if you get your dash back and do it all correctly, you want to do a right dash to this last traffic block. Now to land on the top of it straight away, you can actually demo under this little ceiling of spikes here, and that's going to allow you to just hold right and land on the top of it. But grabbing the side of it and just climb jumping to the top of it is absolutely fine as well. If you don't like the block super because it's too inconsistent for you, that's absolutely fine. After you down dash onto this traffic block, just jump, upright dash, grab the back of this traffic block, then fall in the hole and wall jump over it again to get your dash back from the dash crystal, and then just right dash to that last traffic block there. Now with either strat, once you land on this, you want to do a small jump to get over these spikes without having too much air time, because if you hold jump, you're going to spend longer in the air and lose quite a bit of time there. So just a small jump there. Then you can fast fall and do a wall jump off the left wall there, and then go for a wall bounce in that gap there. Then just 2 climb jumps to land on this bit near the end. Now to enter the next room, I recommend just doing a right dash. And then you want to delay a jump so that you don't get a super or anything like that in the next room. Just delay a jump so that you can jump and grab the right side of this traffic block. Now in this room, there are a few strats for the start of it. You can either wait until the traffic block stops moving, then jump to the right and do an up left dash, and then that will get you to the side of this crumble block from where you can do another climb jump to land on the top of it. Now this is definitely the slower method, but consistent. A slightly faster is to not wait for the traffic block to stop, but just jump off it while it's still moving and go for this upright dash, which saves a significant amount of time, but it's definitely quite scary because the frame window to do this upright dash is quite small. The important thing is to make sure you're at the top of this traffic block before you do the jump to the right. One setup that some people do to set up this upright dash is to grab this traffic block kind of low, then as soon as it starts moving, do a full height neutral climb jump, and then a full height neutral jump, like this. And this will put you in position to do that up left dash consistently. However, these inputs can be quite finicky to some players, so if you can't get anything like this consistent, don't worry about it. Just wait till it stops moving and go for that safe upright up left dash there. When you're on top of this crumble block, you want to do a little jump and wall bounce off of the little wall above you to grab the left side of this traffic block here. And then from here you're going to jump off of it till you get this dash crystal, and then up dash as soon as you touch the dash crystal. From here you can do 2 medium height supers and a bunny hop off the last crumble block to make it to that traffic block while you still have a dash. However, this can be a little scary, so some alternatives are maybe just doing 1 super, then bunny hopping and right dashing to the last one, or doing 1 super, bunny hopping and upright dashing to the last one, which loses a little bit of time but is a little bit safer. Or you can just skip the supers altogether and do jumps and right dashes, or even just jumps and upright dashes. The most important thing in this room is to not die, because a death up here definitely loses a significant amount of time. So do whatever is consistent for you. After you grab this one, I would not recommend climbing to the top of each of these ones, because that can cause you to actually die to the last one there, like I just did, if you're too high on the second traffic block. So I would recommend just staying at the height that you are when you grab it, and just doing full height jumps to each side, and that will allow you to grab the last traffic block nice and high, from where you could move up a little bit extra if you want to just get the maximum height there. And from here, you're just going to do a jump to the left, an up dash, and then a couple of climb jumps on that right wall there. For this heart room, as soon as you enter, you want to do an upright dash to land on top of that little hill in the middle. Then you're going to want to do an extended hyper and then ultra, and just hold jump to make sure you touch that blue block. And don't worry about the fact that you can't see the blue block, because if you get an ultra and hold jump, you will always touch that one. Make sure you do the downright for the ultra late enough, so that you actually get an ultra, because if you do it too soon, like that, the dash will not end before you touch the ground, and therefore you'll either get a wave dash or just a jump. So make sure you do the ultra late enough so that you actually get an ultra. Then you're going to do a wall jump off of this blue block, a wall bounce off of the left blue one, and then you're going to land on top of this pink one. So do a little medium-sized jump there, work your way through those spikes, and you want to go for a wave dash off of this blue block, and another wave dash off the second blue block. And that will allow you to do a wall bounce to get that dash crystal, and then up left dash into the heart. Now this strat can be scary at the end, because if you wall bounce too early, you won't actually get your dash refill. You won't get the dash crystal there, so if you just hold jump, you will still get to the heart there, given that you jumped late enough. But if you jump too early on that wall bounce, you won't get to the heart at all, which means this strat can be a little scary. So to make it a little bit safer, at the end you can do a climb jump before that wall bounce, and do a left dash into the heart, and if you're high enough and don't fast fall after you dash into the heart, you won't die to the spikes at the bottom. Or you can do a smaller wave dash, sorry, a smaller wall bounce, and just up left into the heart there. And if you're scared about extending on these blue blocks, you can just do climb jumps at the end, and then an up left dash into the heart, which doesn't require the extend either of these wave dashes there. One thing to mention is that sometimes if you do your up left dash into the heart too early, it will actually end before you touch the heart, and so you'll just kind of bounce off the heart like that. So to avoid that, it can be good practice to do another dash into the heart just as you touch it, just in case something like that happens. And that's the end of the level. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments below, or you can join the Celeste Discord and ask in the Speedrun Help channel. These strats can definitely get you a time of as low as a low 1.3x, but if you're just starting out, a time of 1.4x is definitely still very good. So thanks for watching, and good luck with your speedruns.